Hello and welcome to that Deacon on YouTube. Well, can you tell? What color am I wearing? Huh? I'm wearing blue. And that is the liturgical color, at least, that we wear at St. George's every Advent. Advent is the season of hope. And for those who have a liturgical year, it is the rebirth of hope as we await the coming of Christ. Now, I don't particularly have a problem with both the Advent celebration of Christmas that begins just after Thanksgiving and then the Advent season where we reflect on the meaning of the birth of Christ. I can hold both of those things, those tensions together. I hope you can too. And for those of you who don't belong to a liturgical church, I'm going to tell you something else, which is even better. You know, when the rest of the world puts Christmas to bed on December 26th, we are just beginning because we celebrate Christmas for another 12 days. So when you guys put everything away, we're still partying and celebrating. Now, speaking of Advent, I want to share with you this month something that Sherry and I did again. If you remember, a while back, I shared a video of a presentation of a morning retreat we offered entitled A Morning Apart. Well, we did another one, and this time it was a lot simpler. I didn't go in for all of the technology and the prayer stations. We just asked people to show up to contemplate the meaning of God with us, which is what we're doing during Advent. So people arrived at 9:15. We had some very soothing music playing. They grabbed some coffee, they sat down, and then we presented them with a simplified Lectio Divina. We read for them part of the prologue to John, which has to do with the Incarnation. It began with, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And we went on from there, ending with verse 14, which said, "The Word was made flesh and lived among us." We read that passage, and then people sat and they reflected on it for a little bit. Then we paired that passage from John with an anthem composed by Will Todd entitled "The Call of Wisdom." This particular anthem was composed for the celebration of Queen Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee, and it also has an incarnational theme to its text. It said things like, "I am here, I am with you, I have called, do you hear me? I am here." So that paired with the John passage gave a wonderful theme for people to reflect upon. Then we read the passage from John again and asked people to pick out a word or a phrase that jumped out at them. Then we played the anthem again with the text. And then people were given the same opportunity. After that was over, we sent them out on campus for an hour. And people merely journaled, or they drew, or they took the text that we provided for them, and they contemplated upon it. After that hour, they came back, and people shared what happened to them during that time in personal reflection. People were asked to share what word jumped out at them during their time alone. And we put it up on a piece of paper, a Post-it. And all of those words were explained by each individual. I took all of the words that people wrote and created a closing prayer based upon their own thoughts. It was a very fruitful and quiet time for people to center on the meaning of Advent. And people really had a very good time. We had about 12 to 13 people, I believe, and all of them hopefully will be coming back in the Lenten season when we will present another morning apart. Now I'd like to share something else with you. I don't know if all of you saw it. If you did, I hope that you caught the celebration of the life of former President George Bush. That was held at our National Cathedral. This was a hybrid of a typical celebration of life anyone will receive in the Episcopal Church. There were more eulogies and the music was bigger, but basically that is the basic funeral service that our church provides for its members and even non-members. I have led a number of celebrations of life for non-church people who have asked our church to hold it for them. And I have done it with gladness in my heart, because if anything, our church does funeral well. That being said, I was a bit bemused also. I looked at the clergy taking part in the celebration, and I noticed the National Cathedral did not have a deacon celebrating the life with them. I know some people might say, well, there was no Eucharist, so they didn't need a deacon. Contraire. There was a gospel read, and that is something the deacon is ordained to do. And if you have a deacon within that diocese for a celebration like that, a deacon should have taken part in that service. Now, I decided after watching the funeral to email not only the dean of the cathedral, but the Bishop of Washington, D.C. So I looked up the diocese and I sent an email stating basically what I said just now to the dean and to the bishop. I have not heard from the dean. Dean, sir, return your emails. But that very same day, about an hour or less after I sent the email to the bishop, I received a reply. And she stated that she knew that there was no deacon available or able to take part in that service. And she will do everything within her power, within that diocese, to bolster up the people that are serving as deacons. I guess they don't have that many, and she hopes to build the diaconate in that diocese. So thank you very much for your prompt reply, Bishop. I truly appreciate it. And best of luck filling your ranks with many deacons willing to serve the people of your diocese. Thank you for the email reply. Well, that's all I have for you this month. I hope that your Advent is going on beautifully, and I hope that your Christmas season is one of joy, one of peace, and above all, one of hope. So on behalf of myself, I wish all of you a very happy Christmas. And remember, Christmas begins on December 25th, and keep going for those 12 days and keep that spirit alive. And I hope you and all your family have a wonderful holiday season. I'll see you next year with a new video on that Deacon on YouTube. God bless. God be with you. Bye-bye.